Hey, how's it going, everybody? We're here live again, episode 4 of the 33 Rings podcast. I'm Noah, here with Justice on the left. How are you doing, man?
Good, bro. Work starting back, getting ready to move. Lights moving forward. Lakers are fantastic.
Rolling right now, aren't they?
Man. Fantastic.
First, to start out, I guess we should tell everybody it is currently 8:10 p.m. August 25th. So anything that we say in this video or this podcast is only as good as it is right now. I think the Nuggets and Jazz are currently playing. We're not watching it live or anything. I haven't even looked at the score. So we might be super off about that. And then also the Mavericks and Clippers are going to be playing later as well. So whatever turns out in their game. But we still want to talk about Luka and everything he's got going on.
Literally everything he's got going on.
Everything. All 43 points of it and 17 assists worth of it. But yeah, we just want to kind of focus on first round matchups and just kind of updating how the first round's going for each team. So we can start off here with the Raptors and Nets.
But we don't.
Not a whole lot to talk about. If you did want to talk about it, the Nets, they had a lot of people not come to the bubble. It's pretty much a G League team, as like harsh as that is, But there have been a few guys that I thought looked pretty good on the Nets that will really help them next year whenever they have all of their stars with them. The one that I mentioned to you a few days ago, Tyler Johnson, I don't know if it was just like anecdotal experience or whatever, but anytime that what?
It's just Tyler Johnson, man. He's just a funny guy.
Oh yeah, he is. But anytime I felt like I was watching the game, I would look over and he's hitting a three or he's hitting a big shot or as big of a shot in a 4-0 sweep as you can have. But yeah, I just felt like Tyler Johnson played pretty well. Felt like every single time I looked, he was hitting a good shot. Was there anybody that you noticed?
You always want to shine a light on a guy like Karras who's really trying to carry the load and make something happen. It's just not even a series that was even worth watching, really. The last game, the Raptors bench, which I think we have to highlight, is that Raptors bench scored 100 points, which is absolutely insane. That doesn't happen very often. I can't remember the last time they said it happened, but it was pretty for real.
It helps that it was a 4-game sweep and 150 total points, so I'm sure they got plenty of playing time.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the Raptors look really good. You don't want to oversell it because they were playing against a pretty beat up and like mercenary Nets team.
Yeah.
But thought that they looked pretty good.
I'll oversell it.
You'll oversell it?
Yeah, I had them in the finals, so I got to oversell it.
That's true. That's fair. Nick Nurse also won Coach of the Year too. I think it's well deserved.
I agree.
Yeah, so I really liked not watching that series.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just some series just aren't even like interesting to tune into. Even as like two guys like us who really love basketball, like it's just background noise. Like when it's a series like that.
It was usually like the 12:30 or 1 o'clock game is what they had slated as because nobody was worried about catching it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like we said, not really a whole lot to talk about there. Nets are gonna be scary next year for sure, as we talked about on our last podcast. Yeah, multiple pods. Yeah. But they're definitely gonna be very, very good next year. And I think they're finding like more and more pieces as they go. The next matchup that I had here, you can take your pick, I guess. Blazers Lakers. I'll let you touch on that, being the big Lakers fan.
I hope some of you all follow me on Twitter. Most people who listen to this probably do. I've just got a lot of stuff, a lot of ammo loaded and ready to go for everybody who was picking the Blazers, man. Like I said, it was before the series started. I said I have no fears. I'm not scared of the Blazers. I was like. So to me, it's just not even like anything worth touching on. We're so good right now. Like we're literally hitting on all cylinders. KCP after game 1, he's 14 on 50% from 3, 14 a game, 50% from 3. It's just guys doing what they need to do. So LeBron who everybody was worried about because in 8 bubble games he looked like an idiot. Now he looks like the best player in the world again. So,
right. Yeah, they look confident, like all of them. I thought
very confident
from top to bottom. Everybody. I didn't watch all of the game last night because it just.
You wouldn't even text me back about the game.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it, bro. Like, I think I watched the first little bit and I looked over and it was like the first quarter and up by 25. And the thing,
show.
I was talking with a few guys during I guess game 3. Game 3 was actually pretty close. The thing was, I was trying to explain to them they're like not like as they're not as into basketball, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was telling them, like, look, you can't get behind a LeBron team with 3 to 4 minutes left. Like, you just can't do that.
No, he'll pick you apart for the last 3 to 4 minutes too.
Yeah, and he can get to the lane anytime that he wants. And then the other 2 games, you can't get behind that much that early to LeBron because they're just gonna wear on you.
The greatest thing about LeBron, and this goes into guys like Chris Paul and Luka even at a very young age, which is what's really impressive about him, is that LeBron, if he's not scoring, he's mismatch hunting the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing about him is complacent with, hey, I'm just going to throw this to AD. I mean, he has a very good feel for like if Anthony needs to get in the rhythm, like just give him the ball and let him work,
Right.
But if you have a bad defender out there, they're just going to get torn apart. And that's why those 3 guys are really great about it. It's just mismatch hunting, and LeBron takes it to a whole other level. So
yeah, it really helps too when you have Anthony Davis playing like an absolute monster.
Oh, for sure.
Gosh, he's being so aggressive on the offensive rebounding and just rebounding in general. There was several times in both games 4 and 3, I suppose, where he just came out of nowhere. I don't know if the Blazers were not doing a good job of putting a body on him. I think a lot of that has to do with Nurkic just being absolutely gassed.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume because of Zach Collins being out. But there were just several times, especially kind of in the third quarter stretch, where you kind of decide the game, where Nurkic just wasn't getting a body on AD and he was getting huge offensive rebounds, and was just taking the game over.
Especially when you start Nurkic and Whiteside together, there's no
you can't.
There's a rotation to it, but you're going to wear them both down. And with a guy like Anthony Davis, when we have JaVale and Dwight to come in and give him some time, or even Kuzma or LeBron can play big minutes and rebound, like it's just hard to ask those 2 guys to do that. Play those big minutes.
I agree, especially Nurkic, where he's been out pretty much all year. I'm sure his conditioning isn't where it would be otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's something to spot as well. But it looks like Dame is out for game. Is it going to be game 5?
Yeah, game 5. I'm hoping that, which is the smartest decision by the Blazers, because even if he had a chance of playing, it's like, what's the point at this, at this point in the series where you've lost by 30 in back-to-back games, really? Or should have. If we make free throws in game 3, we win by 25. So there's no sense in him playing, and I'm hoping that we're smart enough to not play Anthony Davis if he's actually having back problems.
I don't think he's actually having back problems.
You thought that's just what they said, to let him sit the rest of the night?
Probably, yeah. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they foresaw this. Maybe they're doing the same thing that you're doing, and they just wanted to have a reason to set him. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think there's any reason to play them if you don't have to. So essentially, it's like a sweep for your stars.
Yeah.
Especially if Dame's not going to be in there, I think that they would be fine. Regardless, they could just get 2 quarters out of AD and LeBron and be fine, kind of like they did in game 4, and game 2.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see how the Blazers go about.
There is no going about that.
It's over. So yeah, I guess we can move on then as well, and go to the Nuggets and Jazz. I guess they're currently playing right now. Go ahead and touch on that series. It's because it's been an interesting series, and I've got a lot to say.
I want to put out a public service announcement to Donovan Mitchell and let him know that I apologize for severely underrating him, I guess. Like any guy that's going to cut, he's always drawn those Dwayne Wade comparisons.
Mm-hmm. Hard not to.
Just by the slashing ability. He's a better shooter than D Wade was. It's really impressive to see a guy put up 50 that quick in a series twice, and then he literally looks like '06 Wade. Like just watching him run around,
Mm-hmm.
and the offense is running through him, and I didn't give them a chance. No Bogdanovich. It was just not. It just didn't look like it was going to happen to me. I thought they would lose. I don't remember what I picked them in. Maybe or the Nuggets in 6. I think I picked. I didn't see 3-1 at any point for either team. So
I didn't either. I always kind of like thought of Donovan Mitchell almost like his first 2 years, where I just didn't think he would ever be able to lead a team the way that he is right now. I will say that the Nuggets might be the perfect draw for him. It's something I text you about because Jokic cannot play pick and roll defense against him, and he is having an absolute field day, just pulling up from the elbow, or pulling up from 3.
Well, it's not like the Nuggets have the best defensive guards either.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but even if you have great defensive guards, if you're just setting high ball screens and the center is setting in the paint, there's only so much that you can do.
If you're the coach of the Nuggets, this is what happens, because we look at Michael Porter Jr. It's not his fault that he's struggling like this on defense. He's not incapable. He doesn't have enough time. He hasn't played enough to be in a playoff series and be able to make defensive decisions that he's supposed to make.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what happens when you wait and experiment with your guys all the time. So like if you're waiting to play Porter Jr., you're easing him in, then you get to the playoffs and you really need him to be there.
You just can't be.
Yeah, he's not mentally ready, and his shot making ability, you have to have him on the floor. Like he needs to play.
Yeah.
But if it comes to the point that you can't defend, then you're unplayable, and it's not his fault. I feel bad for him. I really do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. How much did he play in the last game? Do you know?
I don't remember the minutes count.
Oh, neither. My question, I don't know. I wasn't able to watch all of the last few games. How much has Plumlee been playing?
A substantial amount.
A substantial amount?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I keep seeing Jokic just getting cooked on defense, and I guess you have to have him in there.
Well, your offense, I mean, Jamal Murray's obviously doing the bulk of the scoring, but your offense should be running through Jokic, correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's got to be in there.
Yeah.
So I just don't know of any way that the Nuggets can deal with Donovan Mitchell or Mike Conley just giving them the business in the pick and roll.
No, it's just not going to happen.
And Mike,
I don't. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Mike Conley has looked really good too since he's come back.
Yeah, it's that new baby thing.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah,
him and Fred have been talking.
That big father energy. but he, I don't know, man. This Jazz team's not a contending team. They're not scary, but this is a very eye-opening thing for you if you're leading that franchise and you get to see Donovan Mitchell play the way he is.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I've put out multiple tweets about Booker over Mitchell, and I still believe that, but it's definitely a lot closer than I think I gave it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think this also says a lot to Nuggets fans as well, and the Nuggets franchise about like what they're going to do defensively with Jokic, because it's bad in that pick and roll, especially with the amount of scorers that are in the league. Just about every team has at least one guy that can come off a pick and roll and just eat Jokic alive.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to figure out how to scheme that. I don't really know what the answer to that is. But I mean, like, what if they get past this? Then who would they face next? If you face the Rockets or whatever, then
Clippers.
Okay,
Clippers,
well,
Mavs.
yeah. Okay, either way, I was just throwing out a team.
Yeah.
But if you play against the Clippers, then obviously you've got Lou Will or Kawhi or whoever that can attack that literally every single possession.
Oof.
If you play against the Mavs, then you got to deal with KP and Luka both being right there. So you have to worry about the pick and pop and the pick and roll. If you somehow get past that, I mean, like, every single team is going to have somebody that can attack Jokic.
So skinny Jokic isn't the best defender.
No, man, because just you can tell the way that he moves his legs. It's just bad. Like, I don't think that's. It's just not in the cards for him to be.
So my question is, what point do you blow up what you have to put a defensive team out there?
You don't, man. You don't.
I don't know, man. Gary Harris was terrible all year, and you got 16 million in him.
Yeah, I think it probably leads to like basketball limbo. You know, like if you don't find an option in house or just like something, because you can't trade Jokic, like you said. I mean, your offense is running through him, and that's like the real issue there. Like you said, they don't have the best guards, but in the pick and roll defense, I mean, Jokic is the big problem
with real value.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Plumlee's not an awful pick and roll defender, is he? He's at least mobile. You know, so you have that option there. You have Jeremy Grant right there. So really, it's just whether or not you can, I guess, scheme out of it, or if Jokic can randomly become really athletic. I don't know.
Go run. He needs to go run in some sand this summer. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, he looks like he's running in sand. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to touch on with the Nuggets. I'm afraid that it's going to lead to a place where you're almost in basketball limbo, kind of like the Grizzlies, where you've just got tons of talent for a long time. And I'm talking about the like 2010s Grizzlies,
right?
To where you just got tons of talent and you're making the playoffs, so you're not getting lottery picks, but you know,
would you rather be getting lottery picks than being a first round exit every year?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, from a purely basketball standpoint, it's like if something is going to continuously not work, then I guess from a business perspective, maybe, you want to keep being competitive, and that's why these things happen. But from a basketball perspective, it's like this isn't going anywhere. So maybe it's time to like start looking towards the future. Yeah. But that's way too early to say that for the Nuggets too. I mean, they have tons of young talent. Don't get me twisted. But it's just something that I really noticed, and I think that's one of the reasons that Mitchell is just going absolutely crazy this series.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that situation would be serious if it lasts another 2 years. You know, kind of like the Sixers and Embiid and Simmons, where you're like, you know what, something's got to change. So,
yeah, I agree. And we'll touch on that here in just a little bit too.
Oh, for
that's
sure.
One of our big topics we want to talk about. But next, I think we should look at another series, the Bucks and Magic. Almost as interesting in the Raptors and Nets. The Magic did give him a little scare. I thought they played Giannis really, really well in that first game. And I think
they really might have been onto something for other teams to look at.
That's the biggest thing. I don't want to get into the round 2 matchups, but the Magic probably gave the Heat a game plan as if the Heat already didn't know what they were going to do.
Right.
But I mean, also, if you look at it, I guess the Magic can probably be pretty happy with how they performed, being so depleted. Because it's not like every game was a blowout either after game 1. I mean, you know, I can't remember which game it was, but I think the Magic had like a bit of a chance just in game 4, I believe, last night. There was a point where, you know, 4 minutes left, they were down by like 10, and Vuk hit a 3, I think. And then I looked up and they hadn't scored again, and they were up by like 16. So that did happen, but what are your thoughts on the Bucks Magic? Anything that you didn't expect other than game 1?
Well, I'm outside of game 1. I think we both called a sweep in that series.
We were very disrespectful.
Oh, we were. So the Magic can go to hell for ruining that, and then outside of that, though, I mean, it's per usual. I think Orlando played a better game than I thought they would, a better series than I thought they would. So I think they have something to build on, especially when they're fully healthy. You know, like they got guys like Jonathan Isaac there. They're going to trade Aaron Gordon, like just so quickly. So I think they have something to build on. I'm excited to see what they can do.
I am too. Yeah, I hope that that Isaac can get healthy. Mo Bamba could make a big difference. Even in this series, he could have made a really big difference as well. Yeah, just having that size on the inside. So, but that's really all we need to touch on with the Bucks and Magic. The next one, Heat and Pacers. I did not expect a sweep in this at all. I don't know how you feel about it.
I think we both called 6 in this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I have been like a Heat hater all year, not because I hate the Heat. I actually really like them as a franchise, and all of their players. I like those dudes. Like I like Jimmy Butler. I like Bam. But I guess I underrated what Butler was as a leader. And I just didn't think they had a guy on their team. And Jimmy Butler's an absolute killer. I think in game 4 he had like 8 points, 9 points or something, but his box score was like plus whatever. I mean, he just affects the game in so many ways. Bam looks great. Like he's here to stay for a long time. And then Hero looked amazing in game 4. What was it like? In the fourth quarter, I think he had 3 huge offensive rebounds right in a row where the Pacers were trying to make a run. And so I think that the Heat team gels really well. I still think they get taken out by the Bucks, but I've said it early on that I think that the Heat probably have the best chance out of anybody in the East, in my opinion, to beat the Bucks.
We'll save that for the second round episode.
Absolutely. But I definitely believe in that. As far as the Pacers, though, not having Sabonis definitely hurts you. But other than that, I mean, where do you think the Pacers go? Do they just look kind of like outclassed, like the Heat are just a better team? That's what it looked like to me. They just made more timely plays. They just kind of,
you got to take into account the guys aren't there. Sabonis not being there. I mean, that's your all-star, like you pointed out to me yesterday. I just don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know. I'm going to touch on a trade scenario for them when we get to Philadelphia. Some.
Go ahead. You're going to touch on it now if you want.
Okay, cool. Scenario. So I think Vic is gone.
You think they're going to lose him for free?
No, I don't think they'll lose him for free. And this is the trade scenario that came up that I was interested in talking to you about. Was if you say, "Hey, we'll give you Vic and Miles Turner for Embiid and Josh Richardson." You know?
No, I don't do it as the Sixers.
You don't do that?
No, you can get so much more for Embiid.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You're talking about a guy who. Well, let's just go ahead and talk about it. The Philly, if you don't care.
Yeah, let's do it. These two kind of wrap up. That was the next series I wanted to go to. So
yeah, so let's just go ahead and talk about it. So if you're Philly and you watch Joel Embiid, who averaged in that series, he averaged 19 points in the first half, and he averaged 11 in the second half, and that was really boosted by some garbage time points in the end of the last game where he had 10 in like the last 2 minutes. You're looking at a guy who has never taken the liberty to get in shape. He had 4 months to get in shape for the bubble, and he didn't. He's gassed by the third quarter, every game. He's one of the best first half players in the NBA.
Yep.
But he can't close a series for you. You don't know how healthy he's ever going to be. He's defensively, he night in and night out can't decide if he wants to be the best defending big man or if he wants to be the worst. It just depends on his energy level. I think he's moody. I just don't have any hope for Embiid really to be anything other than what he is right now. So I don't think if you're a franchise, it's like, oh, do we try to make a change and build around Ben, which is what a Miles Turner and a Victor Oladipo is? Or even if you call Sacramento and say, hey, what's it look like for a De'Aaron Fox and a Marvin Bagley and a first-round pick? What's it cost to get a Buddy Hield, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like Joel Embiid is worth a lot. How many years does he still have? 3 or 4 on his deal. I just think that Miles Turner is probably a starting center on a lot of teams. But as far as the Pacers are concerned, he's their second, their second center. And so I just think that Embiid demands a lot more value because you still know how good he is and how good he can be. Maybe in a better scenario. Can you imagine that guy in the Miami Heat franchise? Where there's tons of accountability, where he has to be in shape, where it's expected. I think he demands a little bit more value than Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo, who's coming off of an injury. We really don't know what he's going to be, if he's ever going to be back to that same guy.
But Vic is moving the same. I think it's just a rhythm thing for him right now. Nothing about him is lacking explosiveness. If you watched him play in that series, he looked fine. And I think the worst thing that could happen is that the league lets him find his way to Miami.
Vic?
I think that's the worst thing that could happen. I think that puts Miami in a really, really good place to compete for a championship.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, I mean, there's a lot of calls you make if you're Philly. Do you call Oklahoma City and say, hey, I'll take a couple years of Chris Paul Do I take? It just all depends. So, Ben Simmons. Do you want to trade Ben? Do you like what? There's so much you can do.
I saw a video the other day that was talking about Philly trading Embiid to Boston, and I thought that was hilarious. It was like some ridiculous trade with like Jaylen Brown and just like tons of picks, and I don't know. As a Boston fan, like, this is not me being a biased homer. I don't think I want Embiid on my team. I don't think I want his attitude. I like the way that they're going.
Your fans would love Embiid though.
Oh yeah, they would. Yeah, definitely. And it would honestly probably balance out that scoring attack if you can keep Kimba and Tatum there. Then you got good point guard, good wing guy, good interior defender, and interior, just superstar, all around superstar.
Yeah.
So, but no, as a fan though, and I guess maybe the nihilist in me, I'm like, no, I don't want Joel Embiid there.
Well, here's another thing I want to touch on. Elton Brand came out recently, put out a statement and said, he said, I don't want to trade Ben or Joel. He said, I want to compliment him. Well, you've had 3 years to do that. And then you committed $27 million to Al Horford for the next 2 years. No, the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got $32 million wrapped up in Tobias Harris for the next 3 years, who obviously doesn't fit. You picked those two guys over Jimmy Butler, who's in Miami right now, sweeping out of the first round. So it's just like management has to change. I think Elton Brand's probably going to end up taking a step down, not getting fired, but taking a different role in the organization, and they'll fill that GM role another way. The Brett Brown thing was going in the right direction. Now, when I say that I recommend these trades, that doesn't mean they're going to happen. I think that's why they fired Brett. Like, we're going to give another coach an opportunity.
I think you have to as well. I think you have too much talent in Ben and Joel Embiid to not like give it your all to see if it'll work, especially where they've only ever been under one coach.
Yeah, well, the thing that people don't talk about enough is Ben Simmons is a clutch client. And this isn't about him playing with LeBron. This is about clutch has a tendency to get involved in a scenario if a player doesn't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis is point A, B, and C of how effective they are in doing that. So to me, I mean, they're literally one Rachel Nichols sit down with Ben Simmons from him demanding a trade. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I if I'm Ben, I don't want to be there. It just is what it is.
I was gonna say they've kind of hamstrung their next coach too, because no matter what, he's got to deal with Al Horford being on the books for the next 3 years, and he's got to deal with Tobias Harris being there.
Al Horford in one season became the worst contract in the NBA, worse than the injured John Wall.
Yeah, and dude, I don't know if this is just me either, but I don't think that Al Horford is actually even that bad anymore. It's the fit. Yeah, exactly. I just think he doesn't fit there. Everybody's talking about like, man, Al Horford just fell off a cliff. And it's like, I really don't think he did. Yeah. I just think that he cannot. I think that he's not good enough to be a 4 anymore, along like Joel Embiid doing his thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they get out of that contract, man. I don't know if there's a way.
It's gonna have to go to a team that's a contender that has something they can move. That's like, hey, we could use an Al Horford.
Mm-hmm.
Like Boston.
Yeah, like Boston. Yeah, because they didn't want to give him 4 years, $100 million anyways. Right?
No, as soon as that price got there, they were done.
Mm-hmm. I read that one of the big things was that they didn't want to give him 4 years either. They didn't want to give him that money, but they didn't want to give him that 4th year. I think they wanted something like 2.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think if you're Philadelphia, if there's going to be a change you can make this year, and it might be hard to do because I don't know who wants to pay Tobias Harris 4 years of max money. If there's a change you're going to make, because I don't think they're going to trade Ben or Joel. I think they have to trade Tobias.
You think so? I think Tobias can work with the right coach.
I don't. I think they have to trade Tobias just to get off that money.
Yeah.
I mean, that max contract locks you up as a franchise. And then what? Ben just got paid, right? That kicks in next year.
Mm-hmm.
Joel's paid. Like, what improvements you're going to make to your roster? You need a lead. You need a guard who can get Joel Embiid the ball when Ben Simmons isn't on the floor. And they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of serviceable guards out there who just were waiting to get signed to a team, the Tyler Johnsons of the world, that could have just at least got him the ball.
It's crazy how they've messed all this up too, man. Like, I think one of their best. How did they lose JJ Redick?
That's ridiculous that JJ Redick is much more important to your team than Tobias Harris was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that you could argue that the 2017, 2018, at the end where they had like Bellinelli and Ilyasova and Saric and
I mean, when they had the right idea.
yeah, exactly. Like, you could argue that that team was better than last year's Philly team. And that's kind of like a hard sell because you do have Jimmy Butler, but going forward, I mean, I don't know, man. It just seemed like they had figured out that, okay, we need to like completely focus on Joel and Ben and then just surround them with shooters. And that's what they had. And it worked pretty well. I think they just ran into a really hot Boston team that year that had nothing to lose.
It's just a shame. What were they? They were just in conference finals last year, right?
No, they got to the second round.
And one bounce, one shot away.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto.
Yep.
Okay. So I mean, it's a shame, bro. It really is. I feel so bad for Ben. Like I said, I finally came around on the Ben train.
Yeah, you did.
And then you start looking around at that team. You're like, yeah, Ben, you're just in a black hole of nothingness for the next 4 years of your career unless you demand a trade out of there.
Yeah.
I just don't think they have a chance. And I've said multiple times, I don't think Joel Embiid is going to be relevant in 4 to 5 years.
I think he'll always be relevant. I think he's too good of a basketball player in his totality.
He's too hurt.
I think that's Joel Embiid. I think that he'll be the one that can't have a long, sustained career just because of how big he is.
Yeah. Well, how big you are is kind of a weak excuse. There's a lot of big guys who played for a while.
Yeah, but you see it like usually the guys that can't come back from like lower extremity injuries are those big men that have so much weight to be moving around on.
Yeah.
Their movements are already limited to where if you get an injury, they're going to be so much more limited.
A question, would you rather have Porzingis or Embiid for the next 3 years?
I mean, Porzingis seems to be having lower body issues as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I would probably go with Embiid just because I think he's a better player.
I was thinking the other day, because people had tweeted the picture of LeBron playing in Philadelphia. They're like, you could have had it all.
That's so stupid.
And I was like, yeah, let's just clog the floor even more with another guy who wants to pass 50 times a game.
Yeah, I bet those guys are also talking crap about Elton Brand and how he constructed the team. It's like, you realize what you're saying?
Oh my gosh.
Well, how did you feel about the series itself then for Boston and Philadelphia?
Okay, well, Joel Embiid not being willing to come up and really play defense on a pick and roll.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Do you think that was a Brett Brown thing, or do you think that's a Joel Embiid thing?
I think that's the Brett Brown thing.
I do too.
But I think at some point, if you're the best player on the team, you can say, hey, coach, maybe I should guard that, because from a guy who I didn't think was going to find his rhythm in the first 2 rounds, Kemba Walker is back to being Kemba Walker because he got 102 open jump shots in that game, in that series.
Yeah, man, he looks pretty nice and explosive too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everything about him looks like he's back in rhythm. And I think if you're somebody who's pressing him off the screens and trapping him, he's not back in rhythm. Well, now they've set him up, and he got in rhythm very quickly.
Yeah.
So the series impressions, I think Kemba was phenomenal. I think Jason Tatum was the best player in the series, and it wasn't close. I mean, it's just, I think Boston looks really great, and I think Philadelphia looks like they need to throw a bomb in the middle of the locker room, and whoever survives gets to stay on the team. And Joel Embiid can't get away fast enough.
It's a pretty good illustration there. Yeah, I thought Boston looked pretty good as well. I can't tell if it's because Philly was that bad or Boston was that good, though.
Well, Philly's that bad.
Yeah.
But Boston was that good as well. I mean, you still have to be able to execute against NBA players.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, and Philadelphia doesn't have a laughing stock of a franchise like the Nets. Not a franchise, or of a roster like the Nets took into the playoffs, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so like you've got serviceable players, so you should. I think you still give credit where credit is due to Boston, because I thought Joel Embiid would give Philadelphia 2 games, and they just weren't having it. They took 4, and they shut him down in every second half. Maybe because he can't breathe, but it just is what it is. I think Boston gets a lot of credit for what they did to them.
Yeah, I think it shows also how much better Brad Stevens was than Brett Brown. Like every game, there was adjustments that were made, especially the way they attacked. Did you see how, like, very early on they were trying to have Al Horford guarding Jaylen Brown? Did you notice that?
Yeah,
that's just not something that's going to work out. I don't know.
No,
I feel like they really attacked that. They also did some stuff with how they were trying to get the ball into Joel Embiid. If you notice, they would start out a few possessions. There's a YouTube channel called like Coach Daniel, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
And he made a video talking about how I guess they had figured out some of Philadelphia's plays, and they would start out with Jaylen Brown guarding the pick man, and so that way whenever it came off the pick, then there's some defensive scheming stuff in there. But basically just they made really good adjustments to make it much harder in the second half when Joel's already tired to get the ball to him down low.
Yeah.
And just kind of like messed up all of their offensive rhythm.
Well, we'll touch on it on our next episode, but we're in for a great coaching matchup. For the guys who love coaches, the next series is going to be a phenomenal coaching matchup between Brad and Nick.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm really hoping that the Raptors were just a product of the Nets. But okay, so any other closing comments on Boston, Philly?
No, both of them can go to hell.
Okay, nice. So then the next matchup is Oklahoma City and Houston. And I know you wanted to touch on this one specifically. It's still going. It's 2-2 right now as we speak.
Yeah. So when the Rockets went up 2-1, I really just looked at that and I was like, I don't know that Oklahoma City could win another game. And for some reason, somehow they went from an offense that wasn't moving at all. It was just very stagnant. Everything was very ISO heavy, which is just not the team they were all year. And I think they really figured it out with not limiting Steven Adams on the floor, especially with a team like Houston. And Westbrook seems to be worse than what we thought it was going to be. I don't know if he'll come back. And Harden looked pretty rough last game. I think that OKC may win the series in 7. I do think it goes 7, but I think OKC may win the series in 7.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to one, how good of a coach Billy Donovan is. I think he's a really good coach, and I think he has not gotten the credit he deserved in the NBA because he had Westbrook on his team. And I don't mean that in too much of a way like that to slight Russell Westbrook. But I think if you just have a triple double machine on your team, you just go to him, right? And Westbrook, I don't know, doesn't seem like the most coachable type of guy to me, at least to my eye. But I think it also shows how good of a leader Chris Paul is as well. That they were able to, you kind of got ran out of the gym your first 2 games, and you're able to rally. If this is any normal year, if this isn't in the bubble, this is a normal series. Nobody's freaking out over the 2-0 series lead because, all right, that's how it goes. You win at home, and then you go back and you, as Oklahoma City, you protect home floor. I don't know if Westbrook, what is his injury?
Quad.
A quad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They showed him out there, working out before the game or whatever. That doesn't really mean much.
No.
Man, if you're Houston, is this like your worst nightmare to lose to Oklahoma City?
Chris Paul?
Yeah, to lose to Chris Paul in Oklahoma City in the first round.
Oh, that'd be the greatest thing ever for me. I would love to see that. And I'll admit it, like when we were, I was kind of like, not really a Chris Paul hater, but I didn't believe in his ability to lead a team. Or not lead a team, but lead a team to like as the number one option, right? Yeah.
And when we were doing our episodes back last summer when the Westbrook trade happened, I didn't think the Thunder would even get into the playoffs.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm giving you props. That's what I'm doing. Like you told us, you were like, hey, like it's not. Don't count them out. I think ESPN
butter over here, baby.
Yeah, ESPN had him like a 0.2% chance to get into the playoffs.
Hire me.
Yeah. So But
How did they come up with those percentages? They just randomly throw it out there. Like some guy at a table's like, give him a 0.2% chance. They suck.
0.27. You know that math homework back in the day in high school that was like show your work.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't want to show my work on this.
Knicks 0.
and nobody questions it. They're like, yeah, you don't have to show your work on this one. That's 2 + 2.
So they throw out those percentages the same way Madden does their ratings.
Oh man, I want to say that Oklahoma City can win because I want them to.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on when Westbrook comes back.
I'm just gonna pull for him. I'm just gonna stick to it. And I'm gonna pull for him. It is what it is. I'm just gonna say OKC's gonna speak it into existence.
I'm pulling for the Thunder. I like Shea that much. He's like one of my favorite players in the league.
Yeah, you do
I love Shea.
Could you all have drafted Shea? Yeah, I know y'all get a slew of picks every year.
So. We got 4 this year, man. So I don't know. Maybe he's got to trade those somewhere. We got to
Tyrese
stash those. Nah, I'm good.
Y'all love drafting guards.
We love drafting small guards. They're never gonna play super meaningful minutes, but
ever.
Yeah. Okay, and then any closing remarks on Oklahoma City, other than that you're rooting for them?
No, it's time for the series right now.
The series, the one that everybody's talking about, the player that everybody's talking about.
Yes, sir.
Paul George. What the hell is going on, bro?
This man has put up the worst 3-game shooting performance since segregation, dog.
And okay, before we get into that too, I don't want to slight Luka. He's the one that everybody's talking about. He is looking like the real deal. This is his first playoff series.
Okay, but I want to talk about Paul George.
I know you do. I know you do.
Segregation, bro. That's not even like a fake stat. It's literally since 1960.
Yeah, it's bad. And he's been bad in the playoffs since 2014. What was that, Game 6 against LeBron in 2014?
Yes, and he still walks into interviews like he is the best player in the NBA.
I'm gonna stop you on that one though, because after Game 4, he said something like, hey, I'm not one of those scoring guys like James Harden or whatever. And I can't remember who it was. It was some ESPN program that was like, oh man, why is he throwing shade like that to James Harden?
He didn't.
He was not throwing shade. He was saying like, I'm not the same offensive guy that those guys are. But yeah, in a lot of other ways though, he is always talking about how good he is, and it's he's wearing the shoulder ice and stuff. I didn't know that was still an issue.
Right after he just came out talking about how he's 100% healthy after the beef with Dame, he was like, "I'm healthy."
Yeah,
it's just like I'm just not buying anything from Paul George, and this is an overwhelming issue for me. Like even the James Harden comment, I'm not an offensive guy. Well, you're one of the top 10 scorers in the NBA year in and year out.
Yeah.
So if you're not an offensive guy, then don't. Why are you doing that?
Dude,
how are you doing that?
The thing is, you are an offensive guy. You were what, like 3rd or 4th in MVP last year? Like third. Yeah, you were 3rd place in MVP voting last year. A regular season stat. It's objective to say now that he was just not good in the postseason. And I don't know what it is, if it's like a mental thing or what, but I mean,
God bless his soul. Dwayne Wade tweeted and was like, "I just want y'all to know, I know he's struggling, but playoff P is a real thing. I witnessed it firsthand."
Where did he witness it?
In 2013. It's 2020, bro. Not even 2013. It might have been 2012. Like it's just like not even like that Paul George was a one-time thing. I don't know if he'll ever. And listen, he is bound. I mean, bound to have a 30-point game in this playoffs at some point.
I wouldn't hate if it happened tonight, because I don't hate Paul George either.
No, well,
I kind of hate the way he's been acting, like disabling comments on his Instagram, and it does seem I don't like
sensitive.
I don't like giving that to NBA players because I'm just like a dude that's sitting on my computer. But
Soft.
he does seem kind of soft with all that.
No, soft. And he's ever since he went to the Clippers, he's had this attitude that I can't deal with, bro. The lies, I don't know. I just can't do it.
Bro, Kawhi looks so annoyed. I don't know if you can just look at him, man. After game 3, a reporter asked him, he's like, "Can you guys win with Paul like playing this way?" And he just looked at him and was like, "Yeah." And, like, that's like all he said. It's like, dude, he is so pissed off right now. He does not want to talk about this.
No, poor Kawhi, bro, because he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, he
But
has.
I will say this. If you all are the second coming of Michael and Scotty, there is no reason that Marcus Morris should be checking Luka for 80% of the game. If he is the only guy giving you problems, why is Kawhi and Paul George just sitting out there guarding Tim Hardaway Jr. and Maxi Kleber?
Yeah, I mean, and obviously the big one too, like why did Kawhi switch off for Reggie
At the
Jackson?
end of the game.
Yeah. Why is Reggie Jackson you knew that he knew everybody on planet Earth knew who was going to get the ball. At least
Where is this energy for LeBron? When LeBron ain't guarding the best player, everybody's pissed.
Are you talking to me right now?
Everybody.
Because I told you a few weeks ago during the bubble, and he was guarding, like he was stepping out onto everybody's good players. I think he did it in the Clippers game too.
Locked up.
Dude, I was like, man, I love this, dude. Like that's awesome. Yeah.
But it's been his whole career that people harp on that, and more often than not, Kawhi is not guarding the best player unless it comes down to the minute that he has to. And then it came down to the minute that he had to, and he didn't.
Yeah, and you don't know if that's like a coaching thing either.
A switch. Switch everything.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, that's I was trying to explain to a buddy of mine. You know, that's like kind of how the Clippers are built. That's kind of how modern basketball is. Like everybody wants to switch. That's kind of the way defense is going now.
Yeah.
And so,
but not to go back to LeBron, but it's just like the playoff series. Whenever he switched off on Steph, whenever they ran that rub screen, when KD hit the pull up on JR, and they got the switch, and people were fussing about it. And you're like, well, when you look, it's like, are you going to go follow the best shooter in the world too?
Dude, the thing about it's like, are you going to guard the best shooter in the world or the second best shooter in the world, or are you going to guard the third best shooter in the world?
Yeah.
Sorry, dang. Like,
we switched everything.
Yeah. Let's not switch everything, and that way we can have 3 of the best shooters in the world wide open on every screen. Yeah. Those are people that just want to complain about stuff, and don't get me started. But, man, you talked about how good Kawhi's been in the series, and he has been. Mm-hmm. Was he averaging like 31 and 10 and something?
Yeah. I texted you today, and I said LeBron's been the best player in the playoffs.
You didn't. So you did not. At least my phone did not receive LeBron's been the best in the playoffs. You just sent me numbers and said best in the playoffs. Because I said that Luka was the best in this series, and it's not close. And I don't know why everybody's being afraid to say it. Luka's averaging like 30, 32, 10, and 9 or something. 32, 10, and 8. I don't know. But Luka's been the best player in this series. It's his first playoff series, and it really hasn't. It's not that close with how good he's played, numbers wise. I mean, he's hitting game winners. Dude, my favorite part of that game winner is that he airballed like 3 threes in the fourth quarter.
He airballs all the time.
Dude, yeah. And then he's just pulling again. Like, dude,
whatever.
That is just like a different mentality. I don't have that mentality in anything I do. Like that takes a very special person. Just be like, I'm good on the next one.
Listen, if I hit the rumble strip, I'm buckling up immediately. That's how unconfident I am. and this guy's airballing threes in the biggest game of his career. And then he's like, you know what, bro? I think I would hit you with 3 hezzies and then step back on you 30 feet. And I'm gonna bang that just to do it.
And if it's not like, hey, if I miss, we go to double overtime. It's like if I miss, we lose.
Bitch ass white boy.
Yeah, that's like a, because I think that's like a different definition of clutch too. Like there are clutch shots where, oh man, he had a 3 in somebody's face, but they were tied up. Like the worst thing that can happen is you go to OT. But then there's also those where if I miss, we lose. If I hit, we win.
Yeah.
So
I am thoroughly. And I texted Isaac Harris, who's a writer for the Mavs. I texted him and I said, that's the best 21-year-old in NBA history, and I'm not afraid to say it anymore.
Yeah, I think I told you that a few nights ago, right? I was like, has there ever been anybody in their second season that's put up better numbers?
And I think I told you, like, I think if it was the pace of game for LeBron and KD early, they probably could have put up some similar scoring numbers. And you can harp on all kinds of guys. If James Harden had a team at that point,
Well, he had a team, but
yeah, I mean, like if he had like his own team,
yeah,
playing
I know what you mean.
or then you can make a case. But there's never been. I mean, Shaq maybe,
dude, but just the assists, the rebounds, the points. Like, he's leading that team. KP's out again tonight. Porzingis has been great.
I'm so happy for him, man.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
This series should be 3-1 Mavs right now.
So I agree with you on that, but everybody, I've got a friend who's a big Mavs fan, and he was like, "Man, it's so ridiculous that KP got tossed in game one." I didn't see the first tech. That second tech, man, that's KP's fault. That's dumb, bro.
When he got in between them?
Yeah, it wasn't even him getting in between them either. He was like, he was ready to throw. You know what I mean? And like, if you already have one foul, if you already have one tech, and then you're putting yourself in that situation, that's dumb on you. Like, you can argue all the time about whether or not it was a stupid tech on the first one, or if like really should have gotten thrown out for that. But you just gotta be smarter than that.
By the rule book, the first one's always a technical.
I literally don't know what happened.
Okay, so he didn't get a foul call, and they called a foul on him when he blocked the dude's dunk, and it clearly was a block. By the way, they went back and replayed it. And he swung his arm, and when you swing your arm, it's a technical. It's literally in the rule book. You can't react that way to a whistle. The second one, I don't blame him, but I will say, and this is something that was brought to my attention. Who was I talking? I can't remember who I was talking to, but they're like, for guys who always act a certain way, they don't get the whistle on a technical, like a Patrick Beverly or
Draymond.
A guy like that. Yeah, the refs are so used to them acting that way, they're not going to tee them up for that. Then you have guys like Porzingis, who is a pretty even-kiltered guy, almost always, and he reacts to something in a way that a Patrick Beverly would or a Draymond Green would. Then he's going to get the technical because it's out of his character. And I think that's actually spot on for what the NBA does and how the refs officiate games.
Yeah, it's not fair either. Because you would think that the person that reacts that way should be in trouble more often.
Dude, Carmelo last night didn't get a call when he went to the rim, and he just ran at a ref in the middle of a play. And I was like, where's the technical for that?
Like, the technical is that you still have to be out here playing while you're down by 40. That's the technical, bro.
Oh man, that's just, I don't know, man. I feel terrible that Porzingis. I don't think he should have got tossed in that game. I think that the first one, I think the second one, I'm not calling technical on that. I get that he goes in there aggressive, but he is stepping between the guy that's his best player.
Yeah, but he put his hands on Morris, man. It wasn't like
hands on each other all the time.
But he didn't put his hands on like, hey, back up, and like, put hands on each of them. We're like, oh, back up. He came in really not even worried about Luka and was just like, yo, what's up, bro? And like, was pushing Morris.
Hold on. You remember when Brandon Ingram came in and threw that punch at Chris Paul whenever him and Rondo were going at it? They just came in from left field out of nowhere. He was like, hey, eat this fish real quick, dog.
I just think that if you're in a playoff series, man, and you already have one tech, you just can't afford to do that. And you just have to have that in the back of your mind.
To an extent, yes, but in a playoff series, that shouldn't be a technical. The playoffs are officiated differently, man. And if Patrick Beverly went in there and did that, there's not a technical for that.
I don't know, man. I don't hate the technical the same way everybody else does. I think it was just a dumb move on him, and you gotta know better. I think that if he would have went in and was like separating them both and was like, yo, get back, and was like, yo, get back to Luka as well, then a technical's not called.
In other news, Seth Curry called Paul George a bitch ass. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. That was awesome.
You know that his wife dated Paul George?
Yeah, and got cheated on. Yeah, and then his awesome. Wife is Doc Rivers' daughter.
Yeah, and it's just awesome.
Isn't that a triangle, man? Gosh.
That's crazy.
Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for your dad with your ex on your team? Or are you rooting for Seth?
Seth every time.
Seth looks like a Blue Devil. Like, you know that he went to Duke. And I don't mean like he, I don't mean like he looks like, oh, he like went like a Duke player. No, like he literally looks like the mascot.
Seth Curry in the last month and a half has become one of the most dangerous role players in the NBA.
Him and Trey Burke, man.
Okay, I'm not going to give it to Trey Burke.
No, Trey Burke filled it up the other night, dude.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, not overall, but I'm saying just to this series.
Seth,
Man,
he's gonna keep getting paid.
He was good last year for Portland too.
Yeah, I agree. But he took another step this year.
Man, I love the Mavs team.
Oh, me too, man.
I like them a lot.
Michael K. Gilchrist out there shooting threes when he's open is hilarious.
Dude, man. JJ Barea got some minutes the other night too.
Michael K. Gilchrist checking Kawhi at the end of games, hilarious.
Yep.
It's just it's great, man. I love that team. There's a lot of names on there that I really enjoy as well.
Carlisle's a great coach too.
One of the best, and I think we might have disrespected him when we listed our best coaches. I think we probably should have been up there somewhere.
It's a product of the time, though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The 7th seed, just not gonna get the same recognition right now.
Yeah, I want to touch more on Luka though, and what that potential looks like, what that ceiling looks like, because I think, people always were going to tie him and Trey together. And I think at one point I would have been like, I'd flip a coin. And I don't think it's even close anymore. Like, Luka is so much. And I tweeted, I don't think there's 5 guys in the NBA, and maybe the list is just at 5 of guys I would take over Luka to win me a game right now.
Yeah. And, dude, Luka's game is going to, like, age amazing. He uses his body so well. He shoots the ball so well. He passes so well. He's big enough. I mean,
and this is what people who don't actually watch, they just know Luka's Luka. Who don't really know is the guys who can control the game and find a way to solve what your defense is doing throughout the game. There's very few guys in NBA history who could do that. And Luka at 21 already does that better than most guys do it in their prime. It took James Harden how many years to figure out how to orchestrate an offense and play the way he plays.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul was not as good as Luka is at it right now when he came into the NBA. LeBron either. The ceiling for Luka as a playmaker is just as high as the ceiling as a scorer, which is ridiculously scary. And I think, without a doubt, barring an injury, Luka will end up as one of the 10 best players to ever play in the NBA.
Man, is that going to be a title in the video?
Barring injury, he'll be one of the 10 best players ever play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about guys like, like people borderline Durant, people borderline Steph Curry, you're telling me Luka's trajectory right now isn't higher than what Steph Curry's? I get the MVPs and all that stuff. Luka's bound to win an MVP.
Dude, Luka is going to be in the MVP running for the starting this year, honestly. For how long? 13 years? 15 years?
And you just hope voter fatigue doesn't get him like it got LeBron. Got a shot of the LeBron thing in there. But,
and you hope that because I think if this happened just in 2012, 2013, Luka was a rookie, yeah. Luka was 21, then you don't have the triple-double fatigue as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a little bit of that with Westbrook and with Harden doing it so much to where it's not viewed in the same light anymore.
I want you to tell me right now who are the guys. You just have to win a game. Or let's just say win a playoff series with any team. Put them all in a vacuum, but you're starting it with this guy. How many would you take over Luka? Just name them.
Win a playoff series?
Yeah.
I want LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I want Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
I want what Kevin Durant was. We don't know what he will be.
Right.
But I want Kevin Durant.
Okay.
And beyond that, I'm trying to think of more names.
Kawhi's a no?
I don't want him any more than I want Luka.
Steph?
No.
Jimmy Butler?
No.
Anthony Davis?
No. We've seen that show.
Yeah. I mean, we did watch Anthony Davis sweep Portland. As you know.
Ooh. I mean, it was cool, but
Anthony Davis's playoff numbers are ridiculous, by the way. If you just look at him. He's never laid an egg.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Yeah.
But I still don't want him over Luka. And part of that is just because of the modern NBA and being able to have the ball in your hands all the time.
Harden?
No.
Shoosh, man. Chris Paul?
No.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think for me,
I don't want people to think I'm like overreacting either. But I mean, what's Luka averaging on the season? Close to a triple-double. And I know it's not all just about numbers, but I mean, this is his first playoff series, and he's having his, like, in the series, 30-point scorer go down. He found out about it, like, just before tip-off, and is hitting clutch. Crazy. And is winning clutch game winners, like psychotic level game winners in overtime. Like
one cold shower away from being a serial killer game winners.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so, man, did you see Shaq?
No, what did he say? Something stupid?
It was right after he hit that game winner, and everybody was going crazy, and he was telling Chuck and everybody to settle down. That we've seen that before.
Yeah,
I've seen that before.
From a 21-year-old?
That's what I'm saying, man. From a 21-year-old at this stage on a bum left ankle
against that team.
Against that team, bro. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of goofy from Shaq to be saying that.
Nuggets are about to beat the Jazz, by the way.
Are they?
Yep, 113-107 with 17 seconds left.
Man,
just wanted to fill you in.
Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
It's going 7, bro. Let's go, Nuggets. It's not going 7.
Bold.
Nuggets are still in this, bro.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe it's 3-2 now.
With the bubble, man, you just never know. I think we're in uncharted, unprecedented territories, and I think that us making predictions was ridiculous as is. And I think that, it's just hard to tell. But I want to keep talking about Luka. I could really talk about him all night.
Go ahead. I got time.
Oh, sweet, great. I think when you keep him and Kristaps, and you hope Kristaps is healthy, I think they are one piece in like a real defensive piece from being extremely, extremely dangerous.
You know what the Mavs have in 2021?
Giannis.
Well, they have a max free agent spot.
For Giannis.
Dude, that would be sick.
Why wouldn't he want to play with you? Why wouldn't he want to play with you?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe maybe Giannis isn't that type of guy,
Do I want to play with 33-year-old Steph Curry at that point, I guess? 32-year-old Clay and Draymond, who's going to be basically in a wheelchair at that point after taking as many hits as he takes? Or do I want to go play with Luka?
Maybe he wants to stay in Milwaukee and play with Chris Middleton, who's a really, really good second man.
I've told you I think he's going to end up staying in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think if I myself as an individual was Giannis, if I had his basketball abilities, I would want to play with Luka and nobody else.
Man, that would be
nobody else.
Disgustingly dangerous. I just don't know if Giannis is built that way. I think he's like such a competitor, and then I'm sure they could figure it out, but somebody's gonna have to give up the touches.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of Mavs fans want Oladipo. I've seen it all over the timeline.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And he's a great defensive guy to put next to those guys, and another guy who can make tough shots. Maybe
they can snag Brad Beal somehow and do some trades. I don't know what their picks look like and what they could do. We love
talking Brad Beal trades. It's not going to happen this year. They're going to give him and John Wall one more go at it, and they've both expressed that they both want to try it again with each other.
Well,
so look for Brad Beal to remain a Wizard this year, unless at the All-Star break they're 10 games under 500 and not in the playoff.
They're wasting their time, bro. Brad Beal's wasting his time.
I agree.
The East is not the same East that they remember either when they were both really good.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
but I just don't see Brad Beal getting traded this year.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, I don't see it either, but they're wasting their time.
I think Dallas just has a nucleus of guys who are really talented and still pretty young. Tim Hardaway Jr. is still pretty young. Seth Curry's young.
I think that Dallas is also one of those places, kind of like Miami or Boston or Golden State, that really develops their players well and puts them, whether it be Rick Carlisle or just their whole system as a whole, puts their players in places to succeed as well. Really like Dallas a lot.
One of the best franchises in the NBA
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it's not even close. Really. Them, Miami, whoever you want to talk about next. I can't even say the Lakers. We've had a lot of bad years. So
I'm throwing Boston in there. I'm a homer.
yeah, that's fair. Pre Big Three, no, but
Yeah.
post Big Three and post Big Three, yeah.
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, well.
Lynn bias. Poor guy.
F's in the chat.
Yeah. F's in the chat.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to the next round, man. I think that I'm looking forward to the game tonight. I hope Luka can pull out another one.
I do too.
But I don't know.
I hate that Porzingis isn't going to be playing. I really hate that.
How does it go from a game time decision where like literally right before tip off to now did he get hurt in warmups or something?
I don't know. I remember them talking about him having some knee soreness, but it wasn't in that leg.
Yeah.
And that's scarier than getting hurt in warmups. Because that's not the knee that he tore his ACL in.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
So for a 7'3" guy to be having that,
yeah,
and it's not directly tied to an injury, whether it be in warmups or his ACL from what was it 2017 with the Knicks.
Yeah,
that's scary as a Mavs fan. Not as scary because you got Luka Doncic to take care of you regardless.
Well, KP, get healthy. Before we go, I need your Luka stat line prediction tonight.
Tonight? Oh man.
I don't need your field goal percentage or anything like that because he's gonna shoot. I just want the points, rebounds, assists.
Let's see, I think that tonight Luka gets 34 points, 35 points.
Okay.
35 points. I think with Porzingis out, I think he's going to grab 13 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have 9 assists.
All right, I'm going to say 38. No, 39. I'm going to say 39 points. Keep in mind, he only shot 5 free throws last game, which is very unusual for him. So I'm going to say, actually, let me bump that. I'm going to say 44 points.
Okay.
44 points. 12 rebounds. And 8 assists.
Okay. So we're pretty close.
Yeah.
On those predictions. I can't really remember what I said now, to be honest. I wasn't prepared for that. What was it 35, 13, and 9?
35, 13, and 9.
Okay. I could see
44, 12, and 8.
I could definitely see the scoring going up for sure.
Yeah, but we're going to shoot some free throws tonight.
Oh, I hope so. Do you think they get the win?
No.
I don't either.
No.
All right. How about this before we go? What's your Paul George stat line tonight? I'm about to order some pizza for this.
Dear God. Okay. Paul George stat line tonight. I'm gonna call a 44% shooting night, but he's gonna get.
I thought you were about to say 44 points.
No, 44% shooting night on like a 27, 8 rebounds, 4 assists.
Okay, so you think he bounces back?
He's too good of a basketball player to not just get at least one game in this series where he looks. I mean, game 1 he looked good.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, at least get another game in this series where he looks like he knows how to play basketball. So, I just think he's due one, and I think maybe that's a terrible philosophy, but I think he's due one. If he poo-poos into bed again, this man shoots under 25% again. I can't wait for Twitter because playoff piss is real, bro. I can't wait.
I think that he bounces back a little bit, but I still think he's in the teens scoring, maybe even mid to low teens. I think he is in his own head. I think he limited comments on Instagram, and so that's what I'm gonna say. But I don't know. Who knows? I could see him also going off this game too, and then him puffing his chest out a lot.
Oh, maybe Kawhi's just talked to him in private and really inspired him.
Oh, yeah. Kawhi, the communicator.
Him and Montrez.
Yeah. Masters of communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, maybe they have. Anyway. Maybe Doc has to talk some sense into him. Shoot the ball. I don't know. I can't do a Doc accent.
What are we going to hold Doc accountable for not actually being a very good coach?
what? When are we gonna say why are you not picking up Luka 94 feet like they are doing to Dame? And where are you gonna double Luka outside before the pick and roll?
But seriously, what are we going to knock him for not being a very good coach?
I mean, what do you think it is? Do you think it's an ego thing? Like they think that they just don't have to do this to this Dallas team?
I'm not just talking about this team. He underachieved before he went to Boston. He got to Boston for the standard of what the Big Three team was. He underachieved. He underachieved with the Clippers with the Chris Paul run. You know, like he's underachieving right now. This series should not be a series. You are the championship favorite from almost everybody in the world. If you have Kawhi Leonard, who just coming off a Finals MVP, Paul George, who was third in the MVP race, Lou Williams, the best sixth man to ever play, Montrezl Harrell, I mean, there's just no reason for this to even be a – wow, Jamal Murray at 42.
He's balling, dude.
Yeah, that boy's going crazy. There's just no reason for him to continue to with the teams he's had, he should not have one championship.
That's fair. You think you think he's a bad coach? Or you think he's just not as good as what people say?
He's not as good as what people say.
He should go down a tier to like mid-level?
Yeah.
Good,
there's
good mid-level?
There's probably 6 or 7 guys I would take before him.
Let's see. Nick Nurse, Brad Stevens.
Spoelstra,
yeah, definitely. Rick Carlisle.
Bud.
And
then you just have Billy Donovan.
Oh, tough to say.
Frank Vogel.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good coach, man. I don't care what anybody says. He's a good coach.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach.
He had great success in Indiana. He just happened to run into LeBron. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I'm saying. He's 6 or 7 guys right there that you would say, I'm taking you before I touch Doc.
We didn't say Pop.
Oh, we didn't say Pop? Obviously Pop. What about the Pop to the Nets rumors?
I have not heard that.
Really?
I don't think that works.
Nets don't know me either, but it's interesting.
I don't know why the Nets got rid of Kenny Atkinson.
No, they're stupid.
Yeah.
But I guess KD didn't want him there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I've been thinking.
I think it'll end up being Ty Lue.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, players coach. So, yeah. Anyways, so to close, Luka's great. Doc's overrated.
Man, Luka is great.
Mavs in 6.
Mavs in 6.
Oh, man.
All right, real quick, do we want to predict the rest of is that really the only competitive series? Maybe Nuggets and Jazz as well?
No, I got Jazz.
Yeah, but we want to predict, you want to say Jazz in 6 or 7?
Jazz. Actually. Nuggets in 7.
Nuggets, that's what I was going to say. Dang it.
Nuggets in
7. I'm saying they're going to pull it out.
Let's go.
Nuggets, I'll say it. Nuggets in 7.
I got to stay loyal to my first prediction.
You what?
I got to stay loyal to my first prediction, bro.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And then who do you got with the Mavs and Clippers?
Clips.
I do too.
Healthy Mavs, it'd be different. But Clips, yeah. I had them going to the finals and winning a championship. So I gotta stay true to my predictions. Now, if the Lakers keep playing the way the Lakers are playing, you'll hear me toot a different horn here in about 3 weeks. But
you better be glad that the Lakers aren't playing the Mavs.
Oh, we would have already.
I got the receipts, bro. You told me that the other day.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's probably gonna do it for episode 4 then. Excited to see how the rest of these 2 series really are all that's competitive really. Excited to see how those play out. And then hopefully we'll be back. Hopefully we can get a redraftable or redraftable is what we're calling it. Hopefully we can get
the draft is coming.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get one of those out, and then also get our. It's weird, man, because these series are moving so fast. But hopefully we can get also game or round 2 predictions, and talk about that as soon as round 1 is over. We don't want to split that up too much, so
for sure.
Hopefully we can get all that out. Anything else to close, man?
Thanks for tuning in. Tell your mama, your daddy, your pappy. Tell them hit us up. Listen. Yeah,
we really appreciate all the support. Everybody's listening. We were talking, man, like the best feeling is getting somebody to text you or call you or whatever and be like, man, listen to your podcast. It's good. Dude, can't say how much that means. So
For sure.
yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well,
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Episode 4, 33 rings.
Yes, sir.